Today's Anzac Day, so I thought I would watch a video related to that. So I'm watching this video today, our Anzac Day coverage, remembering the stories of those that never made it home. And yeah, I guess that's obviously very pertinent. Anzac Day, from what I've learned, is a day of remembrance for the soldiers of Australia and New Zealand who have been part of any conflict, lost their life. So a really important day in the calendar in Australia and New Zealand. I want to pay respect to that by just learning a little bit more about these stories. You can tell me what you think. Tell me how you commemorate, what you do on Anzac Day. Let's watch this one.
It's a truism of Gallipoli. The greater the peace, the serenity, the beauty of a cemetery, the greater the horror, the anguish, the pain of the stories within. Ari Banu is the closest cemetery to Anzac Cove, where 16,000 young Australians and New Zealanders landed under fire on April 25th, 1915. Initially, it was a slaughter. Many diggers did not even make it out of the boats rowed ashore. Many more were killed and wounded on the beach. Now, stand on that beach now and look up at the hills and beyond, and you realise immediately they never had a chance. As you shake your head in disbelief, your imagination wanders. You feel as though you can hear the deadly clatter of machine guns and the horrifying screams of young men. It does send a chill down your spine. But
I mean, that really does, like when he paints the picture like that, like you got to think about all these young men sent off to war. Such a horrible time, and then just for the families who have lost people in these conflicts as well, like they obviously suffer greatly. So yeah, again, I said before, I think it's great that this is so well observed in Australia and New Zealand as well. Let's learn more.
Stroll into Ari Banu Cemetery on a sunny, still day, and you hear the water lapping gently on the shore. If you're lucky, you can see dolphins bobbing up and down just 50 metres from the beach, and the birds, a cacophony of chirping. It's gorgeous. But then, a jolt back to reality. I always make a point of heading to the grave of Frank Rawlings. He was a 27-year-old draftsman from Western Australia. His epitaph jumps out, grabs me around the throat and chokes me up every time. I gasp, tears well into my eyes. Now I have to turn away, my composure completely gone. My only darling son. It is so simple, but it captures the agony, the distress of a distraught mother so far away, to whom Frank was the little boy she nurtured and the young man she was so proud of. The love and despair radiates from that stone.
So sad.
As a parent of two sons myself, I can't even bear to imagine it. Just think though, multiply that 8,700 times right around a nation just 15 years after independence, still struggling with the tyranny of distance and communication. That's how many young Aussies were killed at Gallipoli. Not far from Frank's grave is another I always visit. George Seeger, enlisted in the Navy at just 15, but transferred to the Army when war broke out. He told authorities he was 19, but he was really just 17 when he was killed in Gallipoli. On his grave, again, the pain of his parents writ large. He died a man and closed his life's brief day ere it had scarcely begun.
Oh man, well, I didn't realise this was going to be like, and I know learning about these stories is obviously going to be harrowing to learn, and I mean I feel quite it's actually having an effect, having a young son as well, obviously not this age, so my son's a lot younger, but just to imagine already my son's only 5 years old, and the love for him is just so intense, man. It's quite crazy to for your kid, as you say, to nurture your kid, to bring them up to that age for so long, 15 years, 20 years. and for them to lose their life like this, for you not to know when the last time you see them was, like, it's just heartbreaking. I'm sure like any parent would like relate to that, but for it to happen so many times, yeah, it's just heartbreaking, man.
We all know 17-year-old boys, our own sons, our relatives, our friends' children. We all know the last place they should be is on a battlefield. Both Frank and George were members of the legendary Australian Light Horse. They were highly trained, courageous riders, their skills honed in the Australian bush. At Gallipoli, the terrain, the steep hills, the ridges, the thick bush rendered their riding skills and training redundant. So tragically, they were used as cannon fodder, literally. Both Frank and George were killed in the bloody, pointless and infamous charges at Turkish trenches on August the 7th, 1915, so graphically and powerfully depicted in the end of the movie Gallipoli. Go to where they died now and once again you shake your head in disbelief. The area between where the Australian trenches and the Turkish trenches were is not much bigger than a tennis court. Yet wave after wave of young soldiers were ordered to climb out of their trenches and sprint towards machine guns. Just imagine the courage, the steely grit and discipline required to do that, having seen wave after wave of your mates massacred before your very eyes. Whoa. Not far from there is Walker's Ridge Cemetery. High in the hills, once again, it has a beautiful view overlooking the sparkling Aegean Sea, usually dotted with fishing boats, ferries to nearby Greek islands and tourist vessels bobbing in the distance. It is idyllic. Buried there is Major Tom Redford. He was, by all accounts, a dignified leader, respected and well liked by his men. He inspired Bill Hunter's character in the film Gallipoli. In one of the movie's most poignant lines, as wave after wave are sent out to die, Hunter says, "I can't ask my men to do what I wouldn't do myself." On that same principle, Major Redford led his men out on the first suicidal wave. He was killed after sprinting to within 10 metres of the Turkish trench. According to an eyewitness, down he went like a log. A friend later wrote, "A braver and more honourable man never donned a uniform." Tragically, he was just one of 154 young Aussies so needlessly killed within minutes. It's bloody heartbreaking.
Yes.
Last year, we visited Tom's grave with his descendant, leading seaman Claire Donoghue. She was to play at the dawn service in the Defence Force Band. She was deeply moved, fighting back tears. He will absolutely be in the back of my mind. I'm so proud of his courage. Once again, I had to turn away. As a 24-year-old reporter in Canberra, I had the great honour of interviewing Gallipoli veteran Charles Bingham as he marked the 70th anniversary of the landing at the Australian War Memorial. Kindly, gentle, passionate. Charles was a stretcher bearer at Gallipoli. He spoke of the enormous responsibility and obligation he felt because he was the person to whom many diggers uttered their last words. It really struck a nerve with me. I couldn't comprehend how someone younger than I was at the time could cope with that, time after time after time.
This is intense, man. Tell me about this reporter, actually. Like, very rarely do you see a reporter like have this much heart. Like, it's really I don't know what the word would be. Like, it's not enjoyable, but it's like it's good to see, like, he's got, like, it means so much to him. I can imagine he kind of would be representative of a lot of Australian people and New Zealanders' feelings on this day as well. So to see him give so much heart and, like, really recount these stories with so much care means a lot. Yeah, like just so many stories like this, so many young men. And again, this is the importance of having a day like this to really remember them and remember like specific stories as well. It really means a lot when you hear these specific stories, whether it's from the families or hearing the stories of the men themselves. Gallipoli's not something I know a huge amount about. Maybe I'll need to watch a video and learn more about that as well. You can tell me what you know about it. Let's just watch the
When
rest
he
of this
came
one.
back home after World War I ended, Charles dedicated his life to visiting families of the fallen and to veterans' welfare. He insisted their sacrifices should never be forgotten. After I interviewed him, he told me when there were no more Australian Gallipoli veterans, the last one died in 2001, it would be up to journalists like myself to ensure their stories live on. Keep on telling our stories, he urged time and again. Now, every time I do a story on veterans from any of the wars Australia has been involved in, I think of Frank, George and Tom and their grieving families. The words of Charles echo in my mind. And I hope in some small way we are helping to ensure, as that great Australian Banjo Patterson once wrote, their ghosts may be heard. We owe it to them.
Oh, that was actually quite difficult to watch, but yeah, obviously it's nowhere near what the people who have lost family members and friends and fellow soldiers have to go through, and those are the people you need to think about, I guess, on a day like this. Like, so much people have like lost so much. Yeah, tell me what you think. Tell me how you're going to be commemorating these soldiers today. Does it differ by city in Australia? Yeah, just tell me what you think about this, and yeah, it's good to learn more. Thanks.